Can you buy real estate in an IRA? So I'm an expert at this. I've been buying real estate since 1999, a little bit before that on my own, but really moving into being an investor then and became a millionaire that year in real estate. So know a lot about it, and using an IRA is an enormous value. Some people use it exclusively, and some of you can use it to get started. So let's talk about three things. How do you effectively use it for real estate investments? Number two, what are the benefits of combining real estate and your IRA? I'm also going to talk a little bit about the restrictions and rules, because there are some very specific rules around how to use IRA money. And then number three, the big mistakes people make because they don't know the rules, or their custodian doesn't know the rules, or allowing to bend the rules, and you can implode your IRA, which means a big tax burden coming soon. So let's begin. So how do you effectively use your IRA to buy real estate? So first of all, you've got to self-direct. Now you could go to, again, I always talk about the traditional kind of, Western medicine. Well, there's traditional Western finance, and it's the traditional firms like Schwab, Fidelity, even Wells Fargo, a lot of the banks, a lot of them have self-directed, accounts. Self-directed in their mind means you can only buy into their products. You can only buy their bonds, their stocks, their products that they are going to make the money on. So the self-directing we're talking about, there's maybe a dozen maximum really good custodians. I say there's really only a handful of really good custodians who are going to be side by side as your custodian partner. So what does that mean when you self-direct with what I call real alternative self-directed company? Those are the companies that will actually support you with the documentation, because there are a lot of rules and regulations on how these documents get done, because ERISA is the governing body of IRAs and employee qualified plans. So that money has already been either pre-taxed because you got in a Roth IRA that's qualified that way, or it is not taxed yet, but you put an IRA, a 401k, or any of those vehicles. And there's a variety. You want to find a company. If you don't know one, we actually have a variety of choices that we give to our clients to use that we've been using for years and are very creative. They don't break any rules, but they get creative about how to use that money, whether it's a hard money loan, whether it's actually for the real estate, but they have to know the rules, because you do any of this wrong, and every year the regulations change around the use of 401k and Roth IRA money. So you find an alternative self-directed company that actually has some experience in real estate. If they haven't done a lot of real estate transactions, I wouldn't want to be the test case. I wouldn't want to be the first one up and them learning on you. So make sure they have hundreds and hundreds of clients, if not thousands, that have used these transactions, and maybe even get some referrals from them, so you know they're actually legitimate, the paperwork's legitimate, and you're not going to blow up your qualified plan. So diversifying your IRA is a huge opportunity. With the amount of transitions that people are doing in jobs, what we find is so many people leave their 401k or their IRA behind. So during your career, you need to keep moving that forward to an alternative self-directed IRA custodian. So instead of leaving it behind with the company, what are you going to do? Just buy into those? I mean, when I left Chevron, I moved mine into a self-directed account, just like I'm talking about. So then I had well into six figures that I could decide, how do I want that money invested? So you work hand in hand with your custodian, and you make sure you don't violate any rules. So can you do real estate? Yes. Here is a huge regulation. You cannot hold debt. So I couldn't go get a mortgage and get the down payment from my IRA, because it's tied to my Social Security number that will actually implode your IRA. Now, some companies are really lenient. They'll take it down to you get checkbook control only if you really know the rules. I've had people get checkbook control of their IRA via their custodian and didn't get enough guidance from the custodian and blew up their entire IRA. And I'm talking some people that had 20-year 401ks that self-directed. We're talking high six, if not seven figures. That's a massive tax bill. So be very, very cognizant of what you're doing, and just always ask other people's opinion that have been doing it, which is why our community is so powerful. So I would love to invite you to a strategy session to talk to our team, to join our community. We have thousands of members at our big table where we're talking about creative deal structure. We are educating you on how to do a lot of this right. And I have vetted these kind of experts for decades. And so we have some great resources we can support you with as you become a client of ours. So I'm going to put that qualifier. We just don't hand out our resources for free. You've got to be educated. Our people that we recommend or we include, they expect you to come educated, structured, and ready to do business, not just be a looky-loo. Now, number two, what are the benefits of combining real estate in an IRA? Now, my favorite use of my IRAs with real estate are hard money lending. I love to hard money lend in first position. Second position, those are money rules of your choice. There's a lot of second position loans. If you're willing to take that, I'm not. I want first position, so if anything goes wrong, I can take it over. So you can do hard money. You could do hard money and someone else that's not associated with your family do the mortgage. You can come together and do the deal. So there's a lot of creative structures on how to bring that money together. For those of you that are new real estate folks, I can tell you there are trillions of dollars locked up in really boring 401ks. I call them park and pray lazy assets. Somebody parked their money in some 401k old traditional account. They're in bonds and mutual funds. Snooze. I call those lazy assets, not making a lot of money, where you could diversify some of that into real estate. And there's just so many ways to do it. It gets pretty creative and exciting. I have a lot of folks who use it for tax liens. So they'll borrow money from people who have 401k money that don't want to do the real estate work. So if you're out looking for real estate money, look at those around you that might have a 401k. Work with our teams and we'll teach you how to self-direct into the custodian accounts where you can actually then get access. So you can build your own capital fund from other people's 401ks, especially those of you that might have worked at a firm for a long time and you know those people are still there or they have left and they have a huge 401k that needs to be moved. Now, can you borrow from a 401k if you still work at a company? Typically, the rules are up to $50,000. That's it. But again, let's just say you're an engineer or you're an employee at some company with high income earners and they've got great 401ks. Why not find 10 people that are coworkers of yours and put a project together where each person loans you $50,000. You got $500,000 to work with in their IRA money, giving back a fixed convertible note or something like that. They're a hard money lender supporting you for capital for your projects. I could go on and tell you ideas and opinions about how I know to get it done. Before I continue on the biggest mistakes, subscribe to my channel, click that notification button. And this is the different one. I want you to binge watch here. So I want you to click on the next link. I want you to binge 25 hours like the next upcoming weekend. And I'm going to give you $750 towards a new tuition. Some of that could be to buy that real estate as leverage program or buy one of our real estate multimillionaires to be your coach and mentor. And let's get into it. It's an interesting market right now. I mean, we're filming this in September of 2023. The higher level foreclosure market is thriving. And you've got to get in the know. You've got to get into those networks. And we have a lot of folks who can get into those networks, show you how to get in. And as long as you have cash, and we just kind of brainstormed a few ways you could go get some, you could be buying foreclosures at a very high level. I mean, think about it. In 2000, 2001, I know we personally were selling houses normally for $300-400. We were getting $500-600 during that run where everybody's exiting the coast and coming inland. And those houses now are back down to worth $300-400. So they're upside down. There's a lot of those that are going to go into foreclosure. So it's a higher level foreclosure market than we've ever seen, but I could go on forever about real estate because I love it. So let's go to the biggest mistakes of a 401k. It's not knowing the rules. I cannot tell you that enough. There are so many rules. And even lately with the executive at PayPal who actually, put all the shares in a Roth and took his Roth up to, I don't know how many billions of dollars, tax-free, tax-deferred. Now there's new rules. A single asset can only be, depending on which asset it is, up to $2 million in gain or $10 million, and it caps you. And in fact, if you go past it, it will actually implode your Roth. What does that mean to you? You're paying tax again on everything inside of there. So it can get really messy if you try to get complicated. Keep it simple, and you cannot do it within the family. So your lineage, right? So you and your kids can't do business together. Like your son or daughter can't get a mortgage and you borrow them the IRA money. You can't have leverage and debt in that kind of capacity. It could be somebody else, but not somebody inside your family. So there are, again, a lot of rules. And I see people blow up their IRAs, their Roth IRAs, and have a huge tax bill. A lot of times well into six-figure tax bill because you didn't do it right. So know the rules, know the regulations, work closely with your custodian. And again, don't just guess out there. There's a lot that are good and there's a lot that are interesting. I'll say that. If you ever have questions, go to askloral.com, make a request, ask a question, check out the link. The last link I want to give you is Real Estate as Leverage. It's how I became a millionaire in real estate. It's an 8-hour course. You'll get a little free sample. And if you like it, dive into it. My clients love it. They rave about it. And it's just a really full spectrum on how do you set up the structure. We'll talk to you tomorrow.